So, for individuals who are in the early stages, you might want to increase the intensity of this workout by also adding a stability cushion that looks like this. Purchase one on Amazon. What this will do is this will increase the work in your abdominal wall. And so, if you're in the early stages, you'll probably be fine to do this. And this is just a way to make sure you're also engaging the internal obliques, the TVA, the deepest layer of your core. But what I will say is when you put this stability disc on a chair, make sure your feet aren't dangling in the air. So for me, in this chair, I would need to put 2 yoga blocks under my feet. And I would have to do that for all exercises so that my feet are not hovering and I have that stability. Remember, your thighs, when you're seated, shouldn't be above the bony protrusions of your hips. They should be slightly below, and you want your ankles tracking under your knees and your feet solidly planted, perfectly parallel. Add this disc for any of the levels if you see fit. Okay, so we're going to begin with a chair psoas stretch. So you won't need any props. You're just going to sit in a supported lunge. Let's start with your dominant leg back. So you'll turn to the side, bringing one leg in front and one behind, reaching that leg back. So you're going to be sitting profile in the chair. One butt cheek on, and your front foot needs to be fully connected to the floor. So you can put a yoga block or book under it. Taking the outside arm up to lateral flexion. We're opening up the posturally tight hip flexors. And now when you come into this position, the low back goes into deep extension. So see if you can think about someone holding your pelvis and pulling it down towards the floor. And then at the same time, your inner thighs are pulling back to whatever's behind you. And your pelvic floor muscles are lifting in and up. So you feel this deep, deep lift. And as the pelvic floor lifts up, you'll notice the rib cage may push forward. So think about right below the chest, the bottom ribs pulling down towards your pelvis in opposition to the pelvic floor, closing off the front body. Keep breathing here. Inhale. On your exhale, see if you can go deeper into lateral flexion without losing that pelvis pulling down, without overextending the low back. Breathing into this nice, deep postural stretch. Try to widen the gap between the chin and the chest. The head may want to fall forward. Keep the head up on the spine and plug the shoulders down the back. On your next exhale, make your way to the other side, setting up for that supported hip flexor stretch in your chair. And while you're here, let's check in with the breath. So let's breathe laterally like an opera singer breathing into the rib cage. Inhale. Pull the belly in towards the spine. On your exhale, lift up on the muscles that stop your stream of pee and pull the inner thighs back to deepen the posture. On your inhale, ground your pelvis down into the chair like it's trying to pull from the chair all the way to the floor. You feel that deep grounding. And then if you feel a pull up near your rib cage, you may be pulling on your hip flexor, and it could be catching up near where it attaches all the way up in the rib cage area. So soften the rib cage down and pull the low abs in. And just breathe here. This is our opening stretch before we begin some strength work. 3 more inhales and exhales, deepening into the posture. And after you finish that, you're going to grab your loop band, your lightest loop band, and you're going to bring it around your wrists, sitting in your chair, making sure that your feet have full contact with the floor. Bring your legs together so that we engage the adductors of the legs. Sitting up tall with the loop band around the wrists, we're going to take the arms all the way overhead, plugging the shoulders down the back. Working on our shoulder stabilizers here and our breathing. We're going to inhale, brace the abs, and on the exhale, we're just going to pull out with both arms, engaging the upper back, watching out for shoulder elevation, keeping our shoulders down the back. Inhale laterally, brace your abs, exhale, pulse out. 2, 3, 4. Inhale, pause, no movement, pull the abs in, and exhale, pulse. 2, 3, 4. Again, inhale, brace, and exhale, pulse. 2, 3, 4. 2 more. Inhale, exhale, pulse. 2, 3, 4. And last one. Inhale and exhale, pulse. 2, 3, 4. Lower the arms for a second, and we're going to add torso rotation now. So you're going to inhale, prepare, exhale, twist and pulse. 2, 3, 4. Inhale, center, grounding the pelvis down towards the floor. Exhale, twisting. Let's start by twisting to your dominant side only. Give me 4 repetitions to your dominant side. Inhale, center, exhale, twist and pulse. 2, plugging the shoulders down, keeping that distance between the chin and the chest, widen that gap. Inhale, coming back to center, grounding the pelvis. Exhale, inner thighs pull back to the wall behind you so you're sitting up on the top of the sits bones. Good. And one more on this dominant side. And go immediately to your non-dominant side. Inhale, prepare, and exhale, twist. And make sure the focus of the eyes, even when you twist, is a little higher than eye level. Think about hands on your shoulder blades and bringing the front ribs towards those hands so we keep the front ribs closed, the collarbone wide. 3 more sets on that non-dominant side. Hear your breath. Inhale, prepare, exhale to twist. And if it's not comfortable to sit with the legs all the way together, sit with them hip distance apart. But if you can sit with them together and engage those adductors even more, that'd be great. Breathing. Give me 1 more set. And from here, we're going to set the band down. We'll use it in a second. But we're going to sit up tall with our hands on guard, fists right in front of the chest. You're going to inhale, and on your exhale, we're going to do cross punches, twisting from the torso, alternating sides, plugging the shoulders. Make sure the head goes along for the ride. If you want the inner thighs more engaged, keep the legs together, or you can bring a little anti-burst ball between the knees if you have one. Inhale, sitting up tall, only twist and punch on your exhale. Reset on the inhale, plugging the pelvis down, pulling the abs in, and then move on your exhale. And so it's a little dynamic, and you get to really use your breath, hear your breath. 2 more sets. Inhale and exhale, punch. 2, 3, 4. Inhale, exhale, punch. 2, 3, and 4. Grab your loop band, place it back around your wrists, and take your arms overhead. So with the arms overhead, this lightest loop band, plug the shoulders down. Inhale, exhale, bending towards your dominant side first, side bending over. Plug the shoulders down, hold it here. Inhale 1, breathe. Exhale 1, and inhale back up to center. Stay on that dominant side, bending, exhale. Hold, inhale 1, stay, exhale 1, and inhale back up to center. Continue with this breathing pattern. I'm going to give you some checkpoints to think about. So bring the legs together. On your inhale, really ground your pelvis. On your exhale, pull your core in. Close those front ribs. You can always turn your head down on the diagonal if the neck is straining, or you can keep it center with that apple distance between the chin and the chest. 1 more, and let's switch sides. So plugging those shoulders down, bending, getting a nice stretch under the lat, and also recruiting the external obliques. Make sure there's no twisting here in the rib cage, that you're completely focused on bending in your chest and everything is still square to the wall in front of you. Your head can turn down if it feels nice on those side neck muscles. Breathe here. 1 more. Inhale and exhale. Bring it back up to center. Set that band down. We're going to take our hands down by our sides. Palms are facing in. Breathe in. And on your exhale, you're going to do lateral flexion, alternating sides, engaging those external obliques, moving at a quicker tempo here. If you feel any grabbing in the rib cage, soften the ribs in towards the back body. Pull the pelvis in. Make sure your feet have full contact. The inner and outer edge, the toes and the heel are all pressing evenly. If you feel any neck tension, widen the gap between the chin and the chest and plug the shoulders down the spine. 1 more. Inhale and exhale. Good. Move back into your chair psoas stretch. This time we're going to take a little twisting. So make sure you're seated on it sideways. So you've got the side of the body by the top of the chair. And from here, we're going to take a little twisting towards the top of the chair with the torso, both hands on the top of the chair. Good. Grounding the front foot and the back foot. Imagine someone has your pelvis and they're pulling it towards the floor. Lift the pelvic floor up against that. Plug the shoulders down. And breathe here. Inhale. And exhale. Squeezing that back thigh to straighten the leg, but still pushing the pelvis down towards the floor. Pull the abs in. On your next exhale, make your way to the second side. Moving into that twist and hip flexor opener on the second side. We're going to do a lot of quadricep work because the quads atrophy a lot with ALS, and we want to build up that strength so that there's no injuries or falling. We're also going to do some flexibility for the flexors of the hands, the wrists, to help with grip strength and to release some of the tension in the hands. So plug those shoulders down your back. Let's get this nice stretch so we don't over-recruit the hip flexors when we're strengthening the quads. One more breath here. Inhale. Great job. Grab your loop band. You're going to bring it around your dominant leg's thigh. So typically that is the opposite leg of your dominant arm. So if you're right-handed, your left thigh, left-handed, right thigh. So you'll take you're going to take the arm through the band, and we're going to be lifting the elbow up at a nice right angle to get the back of the shoulder recruiting. So you'll take the hand, slip it into the loop band that's on the thigh, and then you'll lift the elbow up as high as the shoulder. And so it's same arm as leg. Same arm as leg. Take it through. Inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. Legs together, hip distance apart rather. Inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. Good. Keeping the shoulders plugged down in the head center. Pelvis grounded in that chair. Inhale up and exhale down. And this is great because you don't have to use the hands to grab the band, and you have those hands free to relax. And inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. One more. Inhale, lift. Actually, let's do a couple more. Exhale, lower. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Let's keep it here. We're now going to switch to scaption, taking that arm up to a high V with the thumb pointing up to the ceiling. Same arm. Inhale it up, still in the band, and exhale it down. So V in front of you. Inhale, lift, straight arm, exhale down. So it's just a little outside of your shoulder. Inhale and exhale. Keep your head center. Inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. Keep that going. Inhale and exhale. Watch the rib cage. Keep it soft. Inhale and exhale. Four more. 4 and 3. Sitting up on the top of the sits bones. Feeling your heels and your metatarsals grounded. Keep your focus up a little higher than eye level. 3. And last 2. 2, and one more. 1. Before we go to the other side, give yourself a bear hug with the arm you just used on top, crossing the body. Round your upper body forward, and you're just going to open up that serratus anterior here, allowing the shoulder blades to come apart, allowing the back of the neck to stretch if there was any straining in that area. Inhale and exhale, sigh. Allow that air to come out. Allow more space to be created in the upper back. Breathing into that. 2 more long inhales and exhales. And 1 more inhale. And exhale. We'll take that loop band around the other leg now. Once it's around the other leg, we'll begin with our lift to that right angle. Getting behind the shoulder, palm is facing down once the arm comes up, and it's facing in by the body when it comes down. The elbow touches the side body, and then you inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. And I want you to feel the opposition. When you inhale, lift, feel your pelvis pulling down. Exhale, lower, feel your inner thighs pulling back. Inhale, pelvis pulls down. You'll sit up taller this way on the top of the sits bones. And exhale. 5 more. 5. We're probably on our dominant arm now, so we don't need as many repetitions with this side. 4, plug the shoulder down. 3, hear your breath. 2, and 1. Moving into scaption. Straight arm now, little micro bend in the elbow. V position just outside of the shoulder. Arm goes forward. Inhale it up and exhale it down. Inhale, pelvis grounds down. Exhale, inner thighs pulled back. Inhale, shoulders pull down. Exhale, ribs soften. Keep that going for 5. And shoulders down the spine, collarbone wide, chin up a little higher than you think. Focus up a little higher than eye level. 4 more. 4. Hear your breath. 3. And 2. Last one. And 1. Just rest. You can keep that band where it is for now. Cross the hands over one another like you did. Bear hug, rounding forward that upper back, just releasing that serratus anterior. Inhaling into the upper back and exhaling to drop deeper into that fold of the upper thoracic. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Inhale. And exhale. And 1 more breath. Inhale. And exhale. Go ahead and take the band around your wrist, both wrists this time. If you have a ball, you can bring it between your knees. If not, you can sit with your legs together. So squeezing that ball, engaging our adductors. With the band around our wrists, our palms can face in or up, depending on your shoulders. If you want to open the shoulders a little more, palms up. If your shoulders are if you have a pretty good opening in the front body, you can have the palms facing in. Elbows are right by the side body. We're going to work the external rotator cuff by opening the arms out to the side and then back in. And opening and trying to keep the elbows glued to the side body. Keep the head back on the spine. Soften the chest here. We're going to isolate and just do our dominant side. And on our dominant side, we're going to add lateral flexion. So we're going to exhale, pulling out as we bend. And inhale, lift up. Exhale, pull out and bend. Inhale, lift up. And just do your dominant side. Don't do the movement on your non-dominant side. Bend to the side and pull out. So side bending. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, side bending. Engaging now the external obliques as well as the rotator cuff, the external rotator cuff. Keep that going. Give me 8. And make sure the chest stays square to the wall in front of you, that you're not adding a twist and a bend. We want that nice side bend, shoulders plugged down. Don't drop the chin. Don't drop the eye focus. Squeeze the ball. Sit up on the top of your sits bones. 4 more. 4. And 3. Last 2. 2. And 1. Switching sides. Setting up in the other side, glue those elbows to the side of the body, widen the collarbone, sit up tall, and begin with your exhale as you open and bend. Inhale as the pelvis grounds down and you lift. Exhale, bend, inner thighs pull back. Inhale, pelvis pulls down as you come up. So all this energy running through the body. We shouldn't be slouching or slumping into the posture. We want to lift up and engage our lower abdominals as much as possible here. Recruit the external obliques as well as the lower pelvic floor. 4. Keep breathing. And 3. 2 more. 2. And last one. 1. Good. You can set that band to the side. And let's just seat it here. I want you to give me shoulder rolls back. Taking those shoulders back. The ball can stay between those inner thighs. Inhale. Exhale, circle. 2, 3, 4. Again, inhale and exhale, circle. Keep it going back. 2, 3, 4. 2 more sets. Inhale, exhale, circle. 2, 3, 4. And 1 more. Inhale, exhale, circle. 2, 3, 4. Grab your shoulders with your hands and circle the elbows back. 2, 3, 4. Notice if you do, as you do that, if the rib cage pushes out. See if you can soften those ribs down and lift the pelvic floor up instead. Keep going with that. Collarbone will be wide. Each inhale is a chance for the pelvis to pull down and the pelvic floor to pull up in opposition. Each exhale is a chance for the inner thighs to pull back, to pull you onto the sits bones. Nice and tall. One more. And let's switch to full arm circles. Go at a very slow tempo. Back. Nice big arm circles, opening up those shoulders, combating kyphosis. Nice, gentle, active stretch for the front of the shoulders, those overactive anterior delts. Watch out for the chin dropping. Find a focal point on the wall with your eyes a little higher than eye level, and breathe into this. Inhale and exhale. 2 more. 2 and 1. Interlace your hands behind your head. Elbows can come in towards the ears. Sitting up tall, just tuck the chin towards the chest, stretching out the back of the neck extensors. Elbows can come in. Allow gravity to assist here. Inhale 1, breathe. Exhale 1, we're going to 6. Inhale 2. Exhale 2. Sitting tall. Inhale 3. Exhale 3. Inhale 4. Exhale 4. Inhale 5. Exhale 5. And inhale 6. Exhale 6. Okay, so good job. We're going to begin a lower body series. If you have flat back or sway back posture, please put a light loop band around your ankles, like so. If you do not, if you have KLP or lordosis posture, you're not going to put a band on for this because we don't want to over-recruit those hip flexors. Everybody bring your hands behind your head and lean your head back into those hands. We're going to be doing seated knee flexion to recruit the quadriceps. We'll also recruit the hip flexors if you have the loop band around your feet. Now, I want lordosis, sway back, and KLP to point your toes as you lift the leg up, plantar flex. So lifting the leg up on your inhale for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, lower the leg down. 3, 2. Very slow, pointing the foot. If you have flat back posture, please dorsiflex your foot. It looks like this. Inhale, lift. 2, 3. We're going to combat that plantar flexion in the ankles that's causing the forward lean by doing that. So think about the front ribs here as you're seated in this upright posture and not spraying them forward. We really want to find the low abs. And the leg is not lifting as high as you think, especially if you're plantar flexing. It should just be coming up very small amount. You'll feel the quadricep recruit, and then it can lower down. Keep the tempo slow. Stay on one leg, and then we'll switch to the other. 4 more on the leg you're on. 4. So you're pointing if you have sway back, lordosis, or KLP. You're dorsiflexing if you have flat back. 1 more on this side. And go ahead and switch sides. Sitting up tall, breathing, noticing where you're working harder than you should be. Is there an area that's really grabbing, that's straining? See if you can soften into that area and put the focus on the feet, the core, the shoulders staying down the back, your focal point with your eyes. 4 more on this side. 4 and 3. Doing great. Sitting up tall. 2 and last one and 1. We'll switch back to the first side and add a twist, twisting towards the leg we're lifting, engaging our transverse abdominis now and coming back to center. Inhale to lift and exhale to lower. Keep the thighs brushing by one another so you're really recruiting the inner thighs as well. Sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Widen the gap between the chin and the chest. Inhale. And exhale. 4 more. 4. And 3. Check out what's happening with your feet. Point them if you can. Dorsiflex if you have flat back posture. Last 2. Sitting up nice and tall. 2. And 1 more. And 1. And beginning on the second side. Sitting up tall, inhale to lift, exhale to lower. And notice if when you lift the leg, if your other hip is hiking. We want to keep those hips nice and even, grounded, sitting on the top of the sits bones. Pull up through your lower pelvic floor. Where's your focus with your eyes? Follow the wall in front of you and let your head stay up on the spine. You're doing great. 6 more on this side. And 6. Hear your breath. 5. You're doing great. 4 more. 4. 3. 2. And last one. 1. From here, we're going to take an assisted quadricep stretch using our chair. We'll bring the foot onto the chair, holding onto a wall, bar, or counter. So the metatarsals go onto the chair, and you want to be by a wall, bar, or counter for safety purposes. And then you're just going to have the legs pretty close to one another. Point the metatarsals here and drive the pelvis forward towards the wall, bar, or counter you're close to intensify the stretch in the quadricep. Breathing here. We want to release those quads after all that work. You can always prop a pillow or bolster under the foot if your quads are open and you need more of a stretch to raise the height of the foot. And if it's easy enough for you to grab the foot, you can with a band or your hand, but this is going to feel nice. And then you don't have to use your hands. You have the support of the chair. Keep lifting up through your core. Watch out for dropping the head here. Plug the shoulders down the back. Hear your breath. Just 20 more seconds of breathing and deepening into this quadricep stretch. We just worked those quadriceps quite a lot, so we need to release them so we're not feeling sore the next day. Another couple of breaths here. And then make your way to the second side. Option, if you're holding your foot, to dorsiflex it if you have a band around the foot or you're actually holding. If you have flat back posture, dorsiflexing would be great. Plantar flex for everybody else. It's going to help us find that inner chain, the adductors, and lift up through our pelvic floor a little bit more. Think about your big toe. How much can you point the big toe as well? I see a lot of people pointing their baby metatarsals and the big toes kind of going wayward, and that affects the chain up the inner thigh area. It affects its engagement. So we really want to feel the feet working efficiently so that the legs can follow suit. 10 more seconds here. Hear your breath. After you finish that, we're going to bring that loop band around our ankles, holding on to our chair or a wall, bar, or counter as a bar. So you can either face it and put both hands on it, or you can put one hand on it like you're standing by a bar. You're going to bring your dominant foot's arch of the foot into the band, and we'll be doing a hamstring curl. So what I'd like you to do is try to keep the legs close to one another, and if you have sway back, KLP, or LP, you'll point your toes as you kick the heel towards your butt. If you have flat back, you're going to move the leg into knee flexion, dorsiflexing the foot in front of you. So there's 2 variations here. We're either doing a hamstring curl and we're pointing the toes and you're taking that leg back into your hamstring curl and holding. Let's do this if you have KLP or lordosis. If you have flat back or sway back, bring the leg in front of you into knee flexion. In knee flexion, you'll dorsiflex the foot for flat back, plantar flex it if you have sway back. So I'm going to show you these variations visually so you know which option. So KLP, LP looks like this. Sway back looks like this. And flat back looks like this. Do the variation that's best for your posture here. Making sure that you're not hiking your hips. You're isometrically holding as long as you can on the breath with good form, and then you're lowering down for a little release. Keep that going. Just 15 more seconds here. Notice if you're gripping in your neck, facial muscles, or shoulders. See if you can soften those areas. And let's go ahead and take it to the non-dominant side. We'll spend a little more time on this side because it's going to need it. I like to keep my inner thighs together as I do the hamstring curl and point the toes so that I really feel my adductors working and I can balance my feet and ankles out for better control. So use your center. Notice if one hip is twisting in one direction, square the pelvis. Sometimes it helps to put the hands on the hips and feel those bony protrusions of the hips and guide them forward so they're shining forward like headlights, nice and square. You're doing great. Another 40 seconds here. Lower the leg as needed and then lift right back up into the position. Either that hamstring curl or knee flexion. Pointing the toes, unless you have flat back posture, in that case you're dorsiflexing the foot. Watch the chin, keep it up on the spine, the head lifted, shoulders down, collarbone wide. Make sure you're not holding your breath. Hear your inhales and exhales. You can inhale through your nose or mouth. Try to exhale out the mouth. I like to do a Darth Vader sound, really forcing that air out, allowing myself to expand through my rib cage on my inhale and exhaling the air out. Last breath here, inhale and exhale. Good job.